Meanwhile, retired Navy captain, former Pentagon official Brent Sadler heard all that, has his own opinions about where we're going. Do you think the president really wants to talk to Iran? And if so, what would he say to them?
Well, I mean, if the mullahs in Tehran or the IRGC backing them actually have a good offer, perhaps maybe listen to them. But the odds of that are really small. But it's always remarkable how willing an adversary starts to open up to talk when an aircraft carrier strike group gets nearby. So
Axios says the president has yet to make a decision on whether he will strike, but was close to making a decision last week. What do you think he'll do?
Yeah, I think it's informative. I mean, the thought calculus was the threat, and there were options being given to the president under the threat that if the Iranian regime started executing publicly these protesters and the leaders of the opposition movement, the regime relented. The president, backed down and kind of gave a little bit of a pause. But in the interim, we've seen perhaps up to 30,000 Iranian protesters executed, 20 in prisons facing imminent execution, as this large armada is starting to form, and all of a sudden the regime now wants to start to talk. So it really, I think the ball's in Tehran's court to see what comes next. Either a good offer that can be taken or the hammer.
But the question is, if the people in the streets have absolutely no say in their government still, and you're killing them by the thousands, and the Ayatollah gave the command, at all costs, we got to keep power. He's now hiding in a bunker. What target should we hit if we decided we wanted to hit it? Because you don't want the Iranians rallying around the flag.
No, absolutely. That's correct. And I think history is an important prelude to what we should be taking as lessons going forward. Certainly going after the power base on the street that's supporting the regime. So this is like the boss. This is these out of uniform, plainclothes kind of ruffians that rough up and kill the protesters, as well as the IRGC. If there are attacks, it should be targeted against the power base of the regime on the street.
So, yes, CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper visited Israel on Saturday to coordinate military plans and potential joint defensive efforts to counter the Iranian attack against Israel. That's an important foundational thing to do before you would attack, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. These types of consultations, making sure that plans are at least understood adequately by our allies in the region. Perhaps there'll be more consultations coming, depending on the scale of what's being contemplated in the next day or so. But again, true to form, the actual timing, there's only one person that knows that, and he's been consistently able to surprise his adversaries, and that's President Trump.
Brent Sadler, thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll need your expertise in the next coming weeks, I sense.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.